what's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time. But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. First NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. It was fun to watch. It didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, I'm still like, but look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then can I make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome back into the Buccateers podcast. It's been a while since last week, so glad to have you. Actually, J-Lo was back yesterday with his campus kickoff. If you missed that, be on the lookout. Go check it out now. It's available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and more to get you ready for tonight's college games and the rest of the week of the world of college football. And we're here to get you ready for the Bucs bye week. It is bye week time. We had a special episode planned for tonight, which we're going to move to next week with other NFL contributors, podcasters, and fun stuff with a bunch of top teams from around the world of football. So be sure to tune into that next week. But this week, we figured let's have some good old Buck ball talk, as we really haven't had that for about a week here now on the Buccateers. And we had a great victory on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints, Zach, although it could have been a little greater. The referees cost us at one point. We got stifled at the 1 yard line at one point. So really 23-3 could have easily been 37-3 in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely. You always got to hate it when the refs rob you of a Bucs by 30 situation. You know what I mean? Like we don't get that chance that often, so it's disappointing when they take it from us. But glad we pulled out the dub. It looked kind of rocky there for a minute, but they turned it around and got the dub. That's what's important.
Yeah, we had like 7, 8, 9 straight plays at one point from the 1 yard line that didn't result in touchdowns. And we were talking about it in our group chat. We're like, are we like asking Madden and running the same thing here? Like, what's going on here? But that aside, I still thought Grizzard called a pretty good game, even though it was his worst game. He knew he had the game in control. The Saints, why tire out Baker? He was clearly banged up a little bit. It looked like to me still go into the bye week, get him healthy, see what happens. B-Shuck in the house saying, what's up, fellas? How we doing? B-Shuck? Long time no see, brother. Glad to have you back. The great Olivia Scordato joining as always. We love our lady listeners. Happy Halloween, fellas. Happy Halloween to her. Happy Halloween week to you and your little ones, J-Lo. How are things going over in your neck of the woods?
I just can't wait to be over, truthfully. I just got a pumpkin today when I posted on my social media, but doing good, man. Bucs are 6-2. We're in the bye week finally, trying to get healthy. I mean, for the most part, we all pretty much predicted that they were going to winning record, because the last couple of years we were going under 500, but now we're above 500, leading the division once again. It's great right now. It's great being a Bucs fan.
It is great being a Bucs fan. And speaking of great, the great Christian Ruiz joining the show saying, gang, how the hell are you? Christian, thanks as always for joining into the program. We got Rochelle, James Rubright, and so many more on Facebook joining the show live as well. We can't appreciate you guys enough. For those wondering what happened Saturday, my internet, I was in the mountains of Santa Barbara, California, and, internet wasn't interneting out there. So one thing led to another, and the Buccateers had a bye week, but now we're back during the Bucs bye week, so we're trading places. Buccateers got a bye week, now the Bucs get a bye week. That's the beauty of life. But Zach, 23-3, obviously, as we briefly talked, could have been a lot better, but that resulted in the Bucs winning not one Player of the Week award, but 2 NFC Player of the Week awards. Obviously, it was a beautiful thing to see Anthony Nelson kind of burst onto the scene for the season. He didn't only burst onto the scene for the season, though. He went out and won himself NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and a multiple sacks, a pick six, a forced fumble, just a crazy, crazy game he had. And then Chase McLaughlin just back to being Chase McLaughlin. 3 field goals, couple pretty long kicks, couple extra points as well. Zach, another perfect day from the special teams NFC Player of the Week and Chase McLaughlin.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I don't think people are talking about enough is, maybe it was Anthony Nelson that blew that whistle so Winfield couldn't get that touchdown, because he knew he probably had Defensive Player of the Week locked up, but then he saw Winfield running towards the end zone and was like, he's not taking that award from me. Blew the whistle, and here we are. I'm going to get that going. Let's try to get that some legs. No, it was good. It's good to see Chase bounce back. He got kind of off to a rocky start. It's good to see Nelly step up. He seems like he steps up when we need him the most, which is good. The offense, it is what it is. This game from the kickoff had a feel to me like, let's just get a lead and milk it and get to the bye and get healthy and not. I think that's why we saw a lot of Josh Williams at the end of the game. We didn't really see any creative or effective offensive play calls, just kind of vanilla preseason-y mode just to get us over the hump, to get us to the bye is what it felt like to me. The end zone stuff was, I'm a proponent. If you're going to run it, let's spread them out. Let's take those extra guys out of the box, make it a little bit easier. But just to line up and run, the same play, it looked like it just like, let's run to the left and let's run to the right and then let's try it up the middle. It was just with the same formation, same play. So I'm glad we got the W. It just, it's one of those games where you're just like, thank God my team's winning, or this would be a miserable game to watch.
You're absolutely right on that. And as you said, a little rocky at first, but they ended up overcoming. And I think that's a great theory on Anthony Nelson. Haven't heard that one yet with the whistle, but that thing had to come from somewhere. We know it wasn't from the referees. So, I can't get fined. So, it wasn't the refs and had to come from somewhere. And seemingly every handful of seasons, the Buccaneers have a whistlegate against him. Remember, against Tennessee, Andrew Adams had that fumble recovery in 2019. ran that puppy back for a touchdown. I thought Bruce Arians was going to pop that game once the referee blew it dead. As B-Shuck alludes to, perfect Sunday. Bucs won, Atlanta lost, Carolina lost, obviously the Saints lost. So all around NFC South losers besides yours truly, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Zach, of course, B-Shuck asking quite again if you're doing anything special next weekend with the super chat. So we got to go in and cut back here and give you the floor for a little bit, as B-Shuck is too kind to us as always.
Yeah, well, I picked up a spare job this weekend. I'm going to be an Uber driver, make some airport runs, pick up a friend of mine at the airport, take him to his hotel, and grab some lunch, hang out for a bit, and then I think maybe we'll attend a game this weekend. Watch the Steelers nephew play the Colts.
Yeah, that is a great time to be alive. Have you guys noticed, by the way, too, that I don't know why it's seemingly, not to change subject, Zach, but all our chats besides B-Shuck, it's like everyone's getting like numbers added onto their YouTube. I noticed in the chat.
Yeah.
Right now. It's like Olivia Scordado -JF5, Christian Ruiz 1135, and now we get Cleve and me 2048. So I don't know if it's like a new like naming regime or what the heck is going on with YouTube right now, but it's interesting. I haven't noticed that before. Zach, I'm glad you noticed it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but Trisha seems normal too. Happy Victory Tuesday and happy Halloween. J-Lo, thoughts on the B-Shuck Super Chat and thoughts on not one but two players of the week for this Buccaneers team?
I mean, if you want to get realistic, I mean, it should have been 3 because Winfield got screwed over like 2 or 3 touchdowns easy, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, refs, they suck. Obviously, we all know that. You won't forget the New York game we went 2 tones. That was pretty bad as well. But for the most part, shout out to B-Shut. Thank you for the super chat, man. You're the man. Always appreciate that. At the end of the day, the Bucs did what they needed to do to get the win. We were against the Saints and the refs, pretty much, if you want to add that to it once again. And the Bucs prevailed, so nothing new. And that number thing's really weird. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I don't know if all of a sudden it's like, well, whatever. Maybe we're in the Matrix or something, and we're getting numbered out here now, or we're all getting identified in some type of way. But Pops text into the show. Great news for Nelson. Great to see him put in all that work and rewarded, well deserved. And as we kind of talked about this offseason several times, Anthony Nelson is slowly morphing into the important role of a Will Golston was at one point in time for this Buccaneers team, kind of being that defensive front mentor. He's already been here quite some time now. By the time he gets done with this contract after next year, he'll be a Buck for 8 or 9 years at that point, which is just crazy to think about how long Anthony Nelson has been here. And really good to have a reserve lineman like that, or edge, I should say, but he could step in and start if need. He could play multiple down positions, different ones. And it's just really cool for Anthony Nelson. Remember, as Zach alluded to, it always seems like he steps up when needed. A couple years back, he made that big play against Carolina, forced that fumble in Carolina, really helped the Bucs win there. So really great stuff. And then Chase McLaughlin, need I say more? I mean, if Bucs fans ran the team, him and Riley Dixon probably would have been cut by week 2, week 3. And both of these guys, obviously Chase more so, but both of them are kicking really well, I think, as of late, really turning things around. So really good to see the Bucs special teams unit kind of solidifying the past month or so after a really rocky start to the year. And we got to give Thomas McGahee his credit. If we're going to rip the man when the Bucs are playing horrendous at special teams, I'm going to go ahead and give him a bit of a kudos while the Bucs are playing at a pretty darn good special teams level. Only thing that could seemingly get better, which could always seemingly get better for this Bucs team, is kick returner. But punt return's been great. Kicking's been great. Punting's been great. Really good stuff after a really, really rough start. Colts, baby, says Cleve and me. Yeah, they're off to a great start. Best record in the NFL, which is crazy, but really good stuff there. B-Shuck, the following weekend, he says, Zach. So, yeah, your Mike Evans weekend, it seems.
Yeah, I'm coming down to Tampa, going to the Mike Evans family foundation bowling events. That's a bucket list for me, so it's nice to be able to check that off. And then hoping to catch the game if I can find tickets that I don't have to sell a kidney on the black market to purchase. So,
Yeah, we're all trying to attend that one. JLo, myself, Zach. It's funny, we all went to the Bucs Jets game earlier this year as well. We all might be at Bucs Carolina in Carolina, so I guess we just travel in a quartet. You know, they might call that a trio right there. And if B-Shuck goes to Carolina, it would be a quartet. So there we go. But we'll see what happens. Good stuff there, though. We're always on the move here on the Buccateers. Speaking of on the move, we have a loaded schedule of shows this week, as I mentioned. Campus Kickoff is out now. J-Lo gets you ready for the big world of college football this week. Coming tomorrow is Towing the Line with Joey Nips, getting you ready for a huge week of NFL action, a huge weekend of action-packed football. Obviously, right now, Tune Me Up Tuesday on a Wednesday, which is really good. We'll revert back to Tuesday next week. Our Halloween special will be Saturday on our Saturday Showdown Weekend of Football Kickoff show. We got a bunch of fun trick and treats loaded up there, including a giveaway from our friends at UNLV, at the Scarlet Standard, Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to be giving away a little package, nice little sticker action, and nice little koozie action over there. Got the brand new spanking sticker on it and everything from our friends over at the Scarlet Standard. So during our college football talk, we'll be giving away that. That's really fun stuff. We appreciate them greatly over there. And then Monday, we'll be back with the Monday show. Not sure if it will be our history show or Man Cave Monday yet, but we'll discuss internally and be back on Monday as well. So an action-packed, loaded slate here on the Buccateers. Never miss a show. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Turn the notification bell on. Hit the like button. We really do appreciate it. Also, memberships, super chats, super thanks, all those good things are much appreciated. Not expected, but appreciated as well. Speaking of appreciated, but this one is expected, the Bucs Bash Saints and turned up to 6-2 heading into the bye week. Really playing some bounce back football after a tough Monday night loss against Detroit. Zach, the Bucs forced a QB change. Spencer Rattler out, Tyler Shuck in. So seemingly down the line again, Zach, we will be getting Tyler Shuck. But kudos to the Bucs, obviously expected, but they did play well enough to force a QB change defensively.
Yeah, I don't think it was 100% of what we were doing. I think they kind of had a notion that if Rattler had a couple turnovers, they might go to him. They had to go to Shuck at some point, considering that they're playing for the number one draft pick, and they got to really see if this kid is enough for them to go in a different direction in the draft or not. So it was coming. I just think Rattler's turnover plays, kind of got the better of them to make that switch a little bit more expedited. I think it was probably coming anyway. I don't know. I didn't see anything from the kid that really impressed me, but I think putting a guy in midway through a game is difficult to try to get any determination of what they're going to look like. I think giving him a week of starter reps, he might look like a different kid next week. So, we'll see. We'll see what he looks like the next time we get him.
I do agree with you. It was only a matter of time, but that was a cherry on top the first half that Rattler had. And really the Bucs stifled that Saints offense, which a lot of teams have done this year, but the Saints have hung in just about every game until that one. In a lot of losses for the Saints, but they hung in there all season up until this past Sunday, besides their outing in Seattle as well. But J-Lo, thoughts on Shuck kind of getting the ropes before we bring in the great ACATs?
I mean, Zach said it best. It's time to see what you got out of this kid. Second round pick. What is he, like 26 years old, more mature, I guess. So it didn't shock me. I think I mentioned during the game that he was going to come in. I got a good feeling. I just got a feeling he's going to come in because Spencer Rattler is obviously cheats. He's not that good, whatever. But at the end of the day, the Bucs did what they need to do on defense, which I think was probably their best performance on defense, if you ask me, all season. Getting out to the quarterback, creating turnover, shout out to the defense, shot the top bowls, creating a great game plan to prepare not only for Spencer Rattler, but prepare for Tyler, a guy like Tyler Shuck to come in, and they handle their business. So for the most part, The Saints are going to have a bad year. Obviously, we all called it early in the year. Shuck, we'll see what he's got. To me, I don't think he's that good. Maybe a German backup at best. That's just my opinion.
As I was kind of alluding to all season at this point, and it kind of piggybacks off Zach with, to me, the best time for rookie is getting that week of preparation going into the next start and kind of taking it by storm. I thought this game for a while in the year was going to be the debut of Tyler Shuck against this Buccaneers team, thinking it was kind of going to be the Saints Super Bowl, right? Division rival, especially after what Baker said, heated little back and forth there seemingly, but nope, they did what the Saints do best. They did a stupid thing. They brought him in the third quarter. At that point, you might as well started him. It just didn't really make too much sense. Although he got his feet wet a little bit, the game was already over by the time he came in. They were down 2 touchdowns late in the third quarter and kind of threw the guy chum in the water there at the end. But Saints are going to Saint. Cats, what say you? Welcome in, brother. Long time no talk.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, before the last 2 weeks, Rattler hadn't been turning the ball over a lot. The Saints were losing anyway. So he'd been playing some decent football, honestly. I didn't watch a lot of them, only saw a little, but, he looked all right. This game he did not. The Bucs really got after him quick. A little surprised they made the change during the game. And I think Tyler Shuck's career will probably look a lot like Spencer Rattler's career has so far.
Couldn't agree more, Cats, on the Shuck looking like Rattler part. I mean, this could be a one and done type year for Shuck, right? If the Saints get the first pick of the draft next year, sure, they could trade back if they don't think there's a young, intriguing QB prospect. But Kellen Moore is already going to be on the hot seat. What do you do when you're on the hot seat? You push the envelope, you draft a quarterback, try and give you some grace period years in there. So it might only last a couple weeks, but good news for him. He has a half a season to prove himself and to battle it out and maybe earn the keep. I keep hearing Shuck as I'm doing other things with you guys in my ear. LOL. Yeah, I was going to mention Tyler Shuck, B Shuck, at least. I'll take our Shuck over New Orleans Shuck any day of the week, right, Zach?
Absolutely. Our Shuck is definitely a first-round draft pick.
And it's just fun when you look at, yeah, that's for sure. We got a top 5 lottery pick right there with our Shuck. But speaking of Tyler Shuck, it's crazy. You would never expect that his last name is pronounced like Shuck when you're looking at it. But that's a beautiful thing, Some things are unexpected. And speaking of some things being unexpected, the referees are seemingly damn near unexpected every week at this point. Every play it's getting to be bizarre. We saw it against Detroit. The K. Dotton couple of plays, one of them looked like he caught the ball. They ended up ruling it an interception. K. Dotton looks like he gets a first down. They rule the ball short. They let Dan Campbell challenge the wrong thing, so on and so forth. There was a tripping blatantly in that game not called. So, and now this week, the refs possibly overturned, definitely one, maybe two, but definitely one touchdown. And it's just getting the point catch where the Buccaneers keep getting screwed, and you're going to wonder, Cats, we saw it with Saints Rams a couple years back. Will the refs eventually damn near cost the Bucs a playoff game? You sure hope not. But Cats, at this point, nothing would surprise me.
No, me either. I mean, they were, I thought Mike got interfered with, by the way, on the play he got hurt. It looked like he was all over his back. I don't know how you missed that. Or you decide to miss it, I suppose. Yeah, these have been 2 games in particular. I mean, that's just crazy. When on the Winfield play, the first one, what exactly, where I didn't hear, nobody heard a whistle. So I don't know if someone intended to blow the whistle, but you're not supposed to blow the whistle on plays like that where it's kind of bang bang. You let the play out, and then you get a review on a scoring play. I don't know what the hell they were looking at. His explanation sucked. Nobody heard it. If there's a whistle, somebody stops. Nobody stopped playing, including the Saints. It's frustrating, because otherwise, the Bucs might shut him out. I mean, as it is, the defense played a great game. Yeah, the second one, Winfield had it in between his legs. It didn't look like Olave made contact with him until he had possession. He was kind of juggling it. So even that, again, don't blow the whistle, let the play go out. They didn't, whatever. Great game for Winfield. At least Nelly's you couldn't take away. And, but that was some bad stuff. I hope I don't see Ron Torbert's crew again on our game, and I really don't care to see John Hussey's crew again either. And I really don't want to see Alan Eck again because I thought he did a terrible job in the Philly game. And by the way, he's from Philly, so he shouldn't have been calling that game.
Yeah, that's like when you're on the jury of a court and you have a tie to one of the parties, usually you get dismissed. It should be the same with the referees. And then don't forget the Bucs Jets ref crew, Adrian Hill, who threw flag after flag after flag after flag. So, Zach, it's kind of been a mishmash of referee appearances this year based on what Katz was alluding to and I was saying earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And the law of averages says at some point this is going to be an impactful situation where it's going to cost us a game. I mean, it started in the Jets game, the Lazard touchdown that clearly wasn't a touchdown, the Abuka catch that was a catch that they wouldn't even replay. The blocked field goal where the guy that jumped over touched the player, they didn't look at that. So it started there and it's kind of continued. It went into the Lions game, and the officiating there was just shitty. And then in this game, thankfully it didn't cost us the game. But I mean, essentially it took 14 points off the board, and that's a game changer. So they really have to clean. And it's not we're focused on the Bucs because we're a Bucs podcast, but it's really league wide and team. It's every single game you watch. You can't believe something just happened the way that it did. So they really got to get it cleaned up before the playoffs start, or it's really gonna affect wins and losses.
Couldn't agree more. And not only league wide, but football wide, man. College football as well. It's like, I don't know if these guys are learning from the pro refs or what, but just ugly, ugly, ugly stuff. I was at the Notre Dame game a couple weeks back against NC State, and it was just terrible, terrible, terrible. They were calling catches, non-catches, catches, just the craziest scenarios you could think of. J-Lo, wrap it up on the refs, the zebras. We can't get fined here, so let loose, brother.
I mean, they all probably sit when they pee anyway, for the most part.
Jeez! Wow.
No, seriously, man, it just pissed me the F off. Like, I get upset, but like, goddamn, like, get the damn calls right. Like, what are y'all doing out there? The NFL, like, come on, man, get this shit right for the playoff start, because we don't need that crap come playoff time when we get in there. Because there's going to be a freaking right at Raymond James Stadium. They try that bull crap, when we get a playoff home game for the most part. Just get it right so I can really say. The New Orleans game pissed me off. The Detroit game pissed me off. And you already know, Tones, the Jets game pissed me off the most because, like, after. And how you're not going to see on the replay. What's the point having a replay if you're not going to make the right fucking call? If you see it right there, how do you not see that? So, help make sense of that to me as we all are fans here. When you see it on the replay ourselves and how the rest not seeing it, I don't know. To me, they're screwing over a lot of people in the parlays, making their bets on the spread and all that too. You want to go in there with the bets as well. At the end of the day, they got to fix this like ASAP. There's no excuses why they're messing up this bad and just making the game not fun to watch anymore.
Let me add something, if I can.
Yeah.
The Eagles in particular are getting on these tush pushes. They still don't know how to officiate it. Even the leagues, the false starting, they don't. And then that was a terrible, almost as bad as the call in our game. That one really pissed me off. I know maybe the Giants don't go on to win, but it was a 7-7 game at that point. And in what way was Jalen Hurts' progress stopped? I mean, if that's not a fumble, what's a fumble? He clearly is still moving. The ball comes out, and they say, we blew the whistle. Again, these early whistles, these phantom whistles, it's enough of this already. And they gotta, and they're not really held accountable either. The only thing I know is they won't be, these particular crews that grade out the worst won't get to officiate playoff games, supposedly. The problem is, I don't know how many good crews there are necessarily.
Right. Well, to your point, Katz, with the tush push on the goal line, they'll let that thing go for 90 seconds while they keep trying to push him across the line. So why do they blow it? They're still actively pushing him when the ball's stripped out. It was clearly a fumble. And then later in the game, you had the offensive pass interference that took a touchdown off the board when that game was still pretty competitive. I mean, those are huge changes in the play. And the false start on the Eagles that they didn't call. They ended up calling it offsides against the Giants. That drive ended in a touchdown as well. So, I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. You know, when we can see this shit from our living room, there's no reason that they can't see it on the field. And then with the, you know, the ability to replay it to get it right, and they still can't get it right.
Couldn't agree more. And then on top of that, they bring in technology to review first downs. They don't even use the technology hardly. I mean, you got this technology and you barely use it, which is mind-boggling itself. And then you could easily think of other places they could use technology to enhance the game, right? You could easily put in like a buzzer on delay of game penalties. As soon as the clock hits 0, you could easily like get buzzed or something and throw that penalty. But no, what do they do instead? They let half the teams around the league, depending on the quarterback, get away with delay of games by about a good half second to a second. And really, that's becoming a judgment call. That call used to be cut and dry, right? It's either the clock hits 0 or the clock doesn't hit 0. But now it's like, oh, is Aaron Rodgers or Mahomes the QB? Okay, we'll give him a half a second extra. No worry. Oh, is Baker the QB or somebody else we dislike? All right, we'll call delay game right away. I mean, the things that should be so easy, the refs even make so hard. So it's kind
even
of
in the Steelers Packers game on Sunday night, there was a clear offsides on the Packers that Rodgers tried to take advantage of. Incomplete pass, but then he's looking at the refs like, hey, he's offsides, why didn't you call it? So the refs missed the call, and then they get together to discuss a call that they didn't make, which I've never seen, to them get together like that. And then even after getting together to discuss it, they still say no penalty. So you didn't, it was a penalty that you missed. You didn't throw the flag. You get together to discuss the penalty that you didn't call that you missed, and then you still uphold the fact that you missed it and say it's no penalty. It's crazy. Like, you can't make this shit up. So that's we saw that this week. You know, in the Lions game, we see a double review, which we've never seen. We see things like, oh, I'm challenging if he caught the ball, and then they make a determination on the spot. Like, it's all over the place. There's no consistency. And my favorite is when they bring in the rules expert and he says, oh, this is what's going to happen. This is the thing. And then the refs on the field go the complete opposite direction with it. So why is that guy getting paid to be a rules expert if he's not even correct when he's making the call, because they go in a completely different direction?
Yeah, if that guy is in the booth getting paid being a rules expert, he should almost be right every single time, if that's literally his job, is to know the rules. So it's just really concerning on behalf of the NFL. And you might want to get rid of those guys in the booths if, you know, you're trying to make
bad luck.
You know, it's really bad. If you're trying to make calls on the field, it's going to look rigged at one point, even if it's not rigged. You know, you got Troy Aikman and you got Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman, by the way, and you got NFL specialist in the booth saying one thing and then the referees calling another thing. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Bud Cannibalist, momentum is a real thing. It sure is. Momentum is truly a real thing. Exactly, B-Shuck. It does no good if the virtual spot isn't used or accurate. Really does no good. The great J-Stack back in the house. He gets numbers added too. He gets 65. And this is really fun. Hi, crew. It's been a while, J-Stack. Good to have you back. NFL rigged. I don't think it's rigged, but I think there's definitely some calls that are not fair. I don't think it has anything to do with being rigged, but I just think the refs are terrible and need to be held to a higher standard. And they need a penalty ranking system against them, right? You make one bad call, this happens. You make it's like getting kind of like having illegal hits in football. Your first hit's a certain fine, second hit's a certain fine, third hit's a suspension. All right, NFL ref, you miss one call, you get fined $5 to $10K. You miss two calls, $20 to $30K. You miss the third call, you forfeit the game and have to sit out or something along those lines.
They talked about it on Pewter Report that there should be like a PFF grading system for officials that come out every week. So then you can kind of see how crappy it is. And they also pointed out the inconsistencies in crews. Like, oh, this crew, you know, they call a lot of pass interference, a lot of holding calls, but this crew doesn't. So you adjust your game plan to the officiating crew when the rules are black and white for a reason. It should be consistently called. It shouldn't be, oh, well, we let them play, or no, we don't let them play. And the optics are just shit. I'm so tired of watching a Chiefs game and them feel like they got a pass interference call and they turn to the ref, make the gesture, and then the flag comes out. The optics are bad. Was it pass interference? Probably. But don't throw the flag so freaking late that it looks like you granted it to a player after he asked for it. It happened in the Chiefs game last week. I think it was Worthy. threw a flag or asked for a flag after the ball was already on the ground, and then they throw it. And Kelsey did it a couple of weeks ago. It's just a bad look.
Yeah, Jonas says that he claims that they've done it in the past based on grades. I don't remember necessarily, but if they did do that, bring it back. I mean, there's no harm in bringing it back, so that would be great. Our friend over in Serbia, Seka Nessa, how you doing? How you doing? Probably butchered that, but I'm used to Nenad joining us from Serbia, so we'll see if Nenad could come back, or other Serbian friend as well. Speaking of coming back, we have a playoff type schedule seemingly come back. But before we get to that, we have a text in from Pop saying, who do you guys think is the biggest challenge to the Bucs for the NFC South crown? Panthers, Falcons, Saints, or there isn't one? I'm going to go ahead and be blunt about it. I think that the other three teams, especially the Saints, I put them on a little lower tier, but all three you could really say are so inconsistent in their play, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons, that to me, I don't mean to sound cocky, I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but as long as the Buccaneers even play and I think they'll play better than this, but say they even play 500 the rest of the year, they go 4-5 or 5-4. To me, that should easily win them this division. Now, I don't see how they lose 4 or 5 games on the schedule. I see 3 losses max the remainder of the year, but God forbid they end up losing 4 or 5 games. I still think they win this thing by 2 games, Zach. I'm really not too concerned with anyone. I guess if I had a pick, I'd say Carolina, just because at times their defense does show dominance, and I guess last week they were without Bryce Young, so maybe that's an excuse there. I guess I would pick Carolina, but at day's end, Zach, I'm not afraid of any of these 3 teams.
Not this year. Not this year. They don't have it this year. Atlanta's a mess. Now they got this whole QB thing going on. The defense plays well at times. They're just not real consistent. They sometimes forget that they have superstars on that team. You know, sometimes like Bijan where was he last week? Kyle Pitts, he has 1 good game a season. Drake London, has a handful of good games. Carolina's, they're just a hot mess. They can't get their shit together and play good football on one side of the ball at a time. So I don't think there's anyone this year. I mean, if you think of it this way, if we beat Carolina twice, the Saints again, and the Falcons again, we win the division, and we can lose the other 5 games.
That's a great way to put it, J-Lo. I don't think you could sum it up pretty much better than what Zach and I have said to this point, but if anything is different on your end, feel free to say it.
No, nothing really. Like that said, Carolina's inconsistent. They're a mess over there. Davey Boy's having a rough time. He can't make up his mind on when he wants to call on the play call still.
Well, to be fair, though, I think I disagree with you there, because I think a lot of Panthers fans would take 4-4 to this point. So I do agree they're inconsistent, but I don't think Davey Boy's been a disappointment this year. I think if you asked a lot of Carolina fans coming into the year, they'd say, yeah, 4-4 is pretty good for us personally, I think.
Well, it could be worse. No, you made some good points there, but to me,
because I think they won 4 games last year total.
I'm not totally sure. I have to go back and look, but they definitely didn't look good. But for the most part, they've shown that they can win some football games. But I have to watch them against Buffalo, some competition there. They got dominated at home for the most part. Only put up, 3 to 9 points, I think they only put up. Atlanta, we already know how Atlanta is. They're going to falcon their way out. Rob's probably going to be out of a job in the next few weeks if they don't start winning some football games. So to me, I feel like the Bucs are in a great position right now to, at least win more games as much as possible. I mean, now pretty much the divisions are, so that's where I feel. It's just trying to get that seeding, which we'll talk about another time. But our divisions are ours for the taking.
It should be, certainly. And again, nobody concerns me either. All 3 inconsistent. If I had to pick one, maybe Carolina. But Cats, none of these 3 teams scream scared to me during Halloween season.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I was going to say Atlanta. They beat the Bills. I thought they looked really good doing it. And then the last 2 weeks, they looked absolutely awful. So, yeah, I don't want to jinx anything, but I really don't see any threat to us in the division.
Yeah, and it's been a while since it's felt that way, right? Because all the time, even in the Brady years, you still had Breeze sticking around, and even when the Bucs were dominated. That was probably last time, but then Michael Vick kind of came, and then remember the South always went worst to first, and that little fun era. But now, knock on wood, barring injury, well, we've had a ton of injuries, but barring injury to Baker Mayfield at this point, seemingly the Bucs should be there at day's end. And even if so, God forbid, I think Teddy Bridgewater might be able to limp this team to the division at this point. Nothing against Teddy Bridgewater, but I think that's how good of a spot the Bucs are in division-wise right now. But you never know. The schedule changes. It's a week-to-week league, and we do have 3 tough games out of the gate. This is a mini playoff stretch coming up right here. And I remember when we were talking before the season, the 2 hardest stretches on the Bucs schedule being mentioned were the Eagles, Seahawks, Niners, Lions, Saints little spat, and then this one out of the bye, the way New England's playing. I know it's a home game, but that's going to be tough come November 9th. Then at Buffalo, it seems like the Bucs always play terrible at Buffalo, no matter how good the Bucs are. We never play well in Buffalo. And then same with playing at the Rams, whether they're in St. Louis or LA. It seems like the Bucs could just never get going against the Rams. That'll be November 23rd, Sunday Night Football there. And then, it breaks open a little bit. But again, these next 3 games, Zach, are screaming playoff-type run with Patriots, Bills, Rams.
Yeah, this is another test run right here to see what we're going to be able to do this season. Like if we can't pull out a win against any of these other 3 teams, making the NFC Championship Super Bowl might be a stretch. But if we can get out of here 2-1, it might be some life. And the reality is we could lose to the Pats and the Bills and it not be that detrimental since they're both AFC teams. I don't know. I just hope Bowles has something ready for Drake May because that kid looks ridiculous this year. And he's getting great play out of wide receivers that nobody probably could have named before the season started. So I hope Bowles has a package ready that's going to cause a lot of confusion. And, I don't know. I'm not confident about the McVay game. He's just so tough for us. Like the Rams are just a hard team regardless. And then it just seems like they have answers for everything Todd brings.
Yeah, Cats, what say you? That's a pretty tough stretch. Drake May and Mike Vrabel, McDermott, Josh Allen, McVay, Stafford. That's going to be a vaunting little 3 games for this Bucs team, but they could persevere much like they went 3-2 in this past 5-game stretch as well.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, the amount of players on offense, just for once, here's a stat. The Bucs have used 5 right guards this year. Just because it's a crazy stat to me. 5 different right guards.
I think J-Lo's next.
Yeah, I mean, me, you. That makes it tough, I think. Like, if they were remotely close to healthy, I'd say, well, they can, because they did. I mean, they beat the Seahawks. They beat the 49ers as well. We'll see, though. I mean, hopefully we get some guys back. That said, that doesn't mean that any of these teams are albatrosses that they can't beat. Because, you hope Baker he's definitely dinged up. You can tell his oblique is really bothering him. His knee is bothering him. So, fresh Baker will do some good. And, New England's a tough team. So let's look at that one. Offensively, it's going to be tough. Our defense is going to need to, play at the top of their game. And, yeah, it's a tough stretch. I'll be very disappointed if they lose all 3, regardless of injuries, though.
Couldn't agree more, regardless of injuries. I think we win 2 of the 3, but I got to try and win minimum 1. Got to try and win 2, but minimum 1. Do you agree, Jay, though?
No, I couldn't agree more. To me, worst case scenario, 0-3. But to me, if you go 1 out of 2, especially if you get a sneaky victory over the Rams, which is in our conference, that to me wouldn't hurt me as much, especially with the injuries and everything. I mean, we need some of these guys back. I mean, Gedeke, hopefully we get him back to kind of help protect Baker. Set Baker run for his life, because we can all admit that right side is so horrible right now. They've had a bad couple of games. So it just depends on who we get back for injury, how we're going to perform these next 3 games. But to me, if we can at least take 1 out of the 3, I'll take it. But 2, out of the three would be phenomenal. That to me, especially bearing injury, we don't know who's going to come back because the injury is like unknown at this point. Who's coming back? So I think after this bye week, we'll get an idea who's coming back. And I think if you get a Luke Gedeke back and possibly Bucky Irving, that will help our odds a lot more getting the ball going on the offensive side. Because if we get the defense that just played this past weekend against these next three opponents, we got a very good shot at winning the football game. Create the turnovers, get to the quarterback. I mean, shoot, the defense plays the way they did. We got a great shot, bearing no matter what injury it is. So that's going to be a big question mark. But to me, 2 or at least 1 out of the 3.
I agree, J-Lo, and I think that's a great point you make, led by the defense. As long as the defense shows up, does their thing, doesn't matter who we really have, because we still have Baker on the other side at that point. So you're going to win 1 to 2 of those games regardless. And if the defense plays like that, you're going to win 2 to 3 of those games regardless. So I'm amped up and interested to see how it looks. But as B-Shuck says, hell, the left side of the O-line wasn't any better last game. Even worse, had a little bit of a rough game. Bredesen had a rough showing. So it just goes to show you anything could happen when you're on the football field. But these next 3 games are pivotal, key, and as Zach alluded to, it'll be a good eye test, I should say, to see how the Bucs are looking as a later run of games. I mean, you get Saints again, you get Carolina a couple times, you get Atlanta again, you get Miami, you should at least, and then you get Arizona too. The most you're going to drop in those 6 games, and God forbid it would be 2 games at most out of those 6 to me. So you're probably going to win all of them. But in worst case scenario, you're going to lose 2 of them, and that would be if they're having fun the last week of the year against Carolina. You know, they're kind of resting starters a little bit. And so to say that, Mr. Light, if you're listening, please consider inside linebacker. We're going to talk about that now, as the trade deadline is November 4th, heating up a little bit. That is Tuesday, so it's coming quick, gentlemen. It's going to be here before you know it, November 4th, midday Tuesday. We've been hearing about trades trickling in the past couple days now, just in case you guys have missed it. Yesterday, the Patriots traded safety Kyle Duggar to the Steelers, and the Patriots have also traded DN Keon White. Kind of interesting to see there. They traded him to the 49ers, but here's a Patriots team winning, kind of making some moves. And then today we had a trade on our hands as well in the world of football. The Jets are trading Michael Carter, quarterback, to the Eagles for wide receiver John Mechie. So a couple of trades the past couple of days. Bud Cannibals wants an inside linebacker. Zach, as the trade deadline heats up here, what say you on your Bucs want list? I mean, we're not really sure who will be back or when they'll be back. So a couple of holes to fill at this point in time for the Bucs.
Yeah, I've been pounding the table for an edge. I just don't see it in the cards. He's been able to generate a pass rush without having a dominant edge. So, I'm kind of walking back from that a bit, although I still think it would be the move. But I think a right guard makes the most sense. The defense, we played really, really well against the Saints. I know it's the Saints, but they looked really strong, and you kind of saw what a Todd Bowles defense is capable of when everybody plays their role. But that offensive line just, man, it went from so promising to WTF real quick. These last 2 games have not been good, and I don't know if it's the right – everybody's compensating for the right guard, but Barton has regressed in year 2. I don't know if the reps at left tackle have caused him a little bit of a delay, but he's constantly getting beat. At one point, it looked like the end just shoved Heck in the chest, and he's fell on his ass and slid back like 2 or 3 yards in the Saints game. I don't know if you guys caught that play or not. I think they got to move Bredesen to center, move Barton to guard to see if, clearing some of that stuff off Barton's plate makes him play a little bit better. And then, if we could get a guard like the kid from Cleveland, the Patolio, Benito, yeah. I think that might be the bigger impact piece for this season.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is Cody Mauch isn't there at right guard to kind of be that anchor and kind of let Barton do the things he has to do to elevate his gameplay, right? I mean, He played left tackle, as Zach alluded to, begin the year, maybe started him a little slow, and now he's had to deal with a handful of right guards in such little time. And as Bishuk said, it's not like the left side's been playing strong, so Barton's kind of on an island out there right now. One reason why he might be not doing as great at center is because Bredesen's not playing as good as he did last season, and Cody Mauch is not out there anchoring that. But O-line is turning into a need. Edge, I would still agree with you, Zach. I would like to maybe see an edge in here. Linebacker, people are clamoring for. Jayla, what are you clamoring for if the Bucs could only trade for one?
I mean, valid points between guard, edge. I still think it wouldn't hurt to get maybe not the blockbuster trade in edge, but go get an edge rusher to kind of help the rotation out, because obviously Braswell, I'm pretty much giving up on him, unfortunately. To me, a rotational guy. But also, depending on the receiver position, we don't know when McMillan got one to come in back. And no knock on Tez, Shepard, the roster we got right now. But no one got open in the Saints game. No one did. You know, Tez finally got open here and there. But if you look realistically, Baker had some time in the pocket, but he couldn't hit nobody the ball. So that's another thing I'll throw out there. If we're not going to get Godwin and McMillan, obviously we're not going to see him till probably playoff time at this point with the net brace still on. So if Godwin's not back, that's another thing to consider, you know, to look into. Maybe not a big stud receiver, but a vet receiver that can kind of help the receiving room out as well. That's another thing I would look at. Maybe a receiver depending on injury. If not, I say inside linebacker to help out Sebastian Dennis and Avonte David out at the rotation.
And that's why I would have liked the Tyler Lockett edition. He ended up signing with the Raiders now, so that's near or there. But in a couple of games with the Titans, he had 10 catches already on the season. Could have been a body, and you wouldn't have had to give up draft capital, but that ship has sailed. We'll see if any other wide receivers become available. I do think we'll get McMillan, Evans, and Godwin back at some point, so it'll just kind of be needing these guys. I don't necessarily mind letting this wide receiver room, the young ones, struggle to grow a little bit. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't mind having Igbuka and Tuz Johnson out there getting majority of the snaps. They're young, they're rookies, seeing if they could grow, seeing if other guys could maybe grow too. So I agree, you know, it would have been intriguing to bring in a vet, and I'm not against a free agent for it, but I really wouldn't want to trade for one, only because, you know, you'll at least probably get 2 out of 3 back between McMillan, Godwin, and Evans. So, Katz, what say you? What would you trade for? Pops shared an article saying he sees Jordan Brooks as a potential linebacker from the Dolphins. Katz, what say you? We're all kind of a mixed bag here.
Yeah. Well, I think I would say inside linebacker, I read Jordan Brooks, also Tyrell Dodson. Servassier Dennis is very good he's been very good against the run. He's good as a blitzing linebacker. It's in coverage. He's given up more yards in coverage than anyone. You know, and that seems like it's one drive a game. So I'd like to see the inside linebacker short up. I don't think he's a bad player, Servassier. I think there's things he can do, but you know, we're halfway through and he's continued to have the same problems in coverage. As far as wide receiver, I would like to see another one. I did read that the Bucs were interested in signing Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who is a St. Pete native. He went to USF. However, he chose to sign with Pittsburgh with his former quarterback Rodgers instead. That does tell me, though, it seems like they're sniffing around for a wide receiver. I don't know who else is available as far as free agents go. You know, veteran free agents. I'm sure there's some. I just don't know who. But that tells me they are looking for someone.
Here's a short list of some veteran names out there right now. You got Gabriel Davis, the former Buffalo Bill and Jacksonville Jaguar. You got old veteran Nelson Aguilar out there, Tyler Boyd out there, Brandon Powell, Jamison Crowder, Allen Robinson, Anthony Schwartz, Jalen Darden, good old Jalen Darden, good old Devin Tompkins. Welcome. DJ Turner, and then Jordan Matthews. Lowell Jordan Humphrey is pretty much a wide receiver free agent options right now, which, gosh, would have loved a Tyler Lockett acquisition, but we'll see what happens. I mean, the great thing is this team doesn't necessarily need to make a move to make the playoffs, but if your aspirations are bigger and if you don't think we'll get healthy, then maybe getting a guard or maybe getting an edge or maybe getting an inside linebacker would be key on this season's success. So we'll see what happens there. Speaking of success, we hope you guys are successful this Saturday on our Halloween show when we're going to give away during the college football segment little UNLV care package from our friends over at the Scarlet Standard. Win yourself a sticker and a brand new koozie courtesy of our friends over covering UNLV, the Scarlet Standard. Really great stuff there. Even if you're not a fan, college football, nothing like cracking a cold one on a game day, getting a UNLV koozie. Dan Mullen doing a great job over there. The Fighting Rebels keep becoming more and more prominent, so thanks to them for helping us get a giveaway going. Speaking of thanks, Anthony GAITOR, many thanks to him. Always great friend of the program, always appearing on the program. Tonight he is appearing on television as Florida International travels over to Missouri State for some Wednesday night football. We are in the midst of the stretch of 49 straight days of football tonight that continues quickly. J-Lo, Anthony GAITOR, they need this win tonight if they want to make a bowl game. We're rooting for our brother over there in Missouri State tonight with FIU.
Yes, they have been slumping. They got to get back on the winning trail. I feel like this would be a good time tonight to go into an opponent that's not as tough as the last couple opponents they have played. I feel it's a very winnable game. I think they can pull it out together, get the ball rolling, play good defense, which they have. They've been pretty great for the most part. I will say, they just got to get back to winning. Once you win that one game, boom, you turn right into consecutive wins, man. That's all it takes. You get the win, boom, you get hungry for more. And that's what I think is going to happen with FIU tonight.
And I thought after they shocked Western Kentucky a couple weeks ago, they were going to get back in those ways. Sadly, didn't happen after losing to Kennesaw State. They have 3 wins right now, 5 games remaining. So out of tonight at Missouri State, next week at Middle Tennessee, the following week home against Liberty, and then home against Jack State, then at Sam Houston State. They'll have to go 3-2 in order to make a bowl game and get to that 6-6 eligibility. So we'll see if they could do it. Other college game tonight, Jacksonville State at Middle Tennessee. Fun fact, Derek Mason, the NFL wide receiver veteran, is actually the head coach over there at Middle Tennessee. So fun games, gives you guys something to watch if you're football fans looking for something tonight. Jacksonville State at Middle Tennessee, 7:30 Eastern. FIU at Missouri State is actually 8 o'clock Eastern. So a couple of options. And then, of course, AMC Fairfest for you scary movie fans. Sci-Fi has a lot of good scary movie coverage going on as well. And then you can always watch a replay of the Buccateers and see our 4 beautiful faces all night long on the YouTube as well. But we are the Buccateers. We are gearing up for a big trade deadline on November 4th. Like we said, 3 trades happened in the past 24 hours. Bucs are gearing up for a big battle with the New England Patriots coming out of their bye week. Loaded show on Saturday. Halloween special, going to be insane. Be on the lookout for Towing the Line tomorrow. Monday next week we'll be back, and then hopefully next Tuesday we'll have our little fun power hour with about 4, 5, 6 other team podcasters, fans, reporters, stuff like that, to get a look, a taste around the NFL. But we are doing a wind-up Wednesday, and we're winding down here. J-Lo, any last words, final words, or thoughts for the program? What a time, what a time.
Absolutely, great chopping up with you guys as usual. Great show. All the others, check out the Campus Kickoff. It dropped last night. Broke down some really good game plans, some good games coming up. Also, I'll talk a little Gator bias. Glad Napier's out the window. Bye-bye, Pop Warner coach. But anyway, it was great chopping up with you. Try and enjoy the weekend. No more no chest pain weekends, hopefully, for the most part. Unless you're a college football fan like me, watching my Gators play Georgia, which I think they're going to beat Georgia. I'll drop the mic right on there. Go Gators.
Great, at least, well, not at least against Detroit, but the Bucs have had 2 chest-free weekends in a row now with the loss to Detroit and the win against New Orleans. This will be 3 in a row. Hallelujah, the heart attack medicine could go down. There we go. Zach, the great Bucs by 30. Always a pleasure, my friend. I know you're going to be attending NFL action this weekend as well, and hopefully you'll be attending some NFL action next weekend. But nonetheless, great weekend planned for you with the Mike Evans Foundation next weekend too. So loaded slate for you coming up. Final words, brother.
Yeah, everybody stay safe. Have a safe Halloween. Don't eat too much of the sugar. Moment on the lips, lifetime on the hips. Remember, we're all getting older. It's harder to burn those calories when you're old and the couch is so comfortable. So be safe, everybody.
Yeah, sub out a little of that candy for veggie straws, veggie sticks, maybe some buttery popcorn if your parents are letting you. Oh, B-Shuck, too late. Oh, man. Oh, man. Love it, love it, love it. But I reiterate that as well. Happy early Halloween. Once again, I know it's a day after, but our Saturday show will be our Halloween special because I imagine the whole weekend will be Halloween fun for some out there. Cats, any Halloween plans and any final words? I do love the OG nerds too. I like nerds. The mini boxes are dangerous though, because I just cut that puppy open and I drink that thing like it's a fireball shooter. That mini box of nerds is gone in a heartbeat. But I do love the nerds and the nerds ropes and the special kinds of nerds ropes, if you know what I'm saying. But Cats, what say you? Any last words with Halloween coming up? Any final words for the show, brother?
No, I don't have any Halloween plans, but it was a pleasure talking Bucs football. Good to be at the bye week coming off a win. And yeah, everybody do have a happy and fun and safe Halloween.
Everybody have a fun, happy, safe Halloween. Like I said, Saturday's going to be fun. We're going to throw in some names to soup up the additions we usually have, like Red Eyes Pick'em might change to Haunted Pick'em, fun stuff like that. Going to be picking out candies, movies, going over favorite Halloween memories on the football field. Mine is LeGarrette Blount on Halloween night doing the whoop over Arizona and running. Yes, that was on Halloween for those curious. And remember, a giveaway on Halloween episode is coming as well, thanks to our friends over at the Scarlet Standard, UNLV. We appreciate it. B-Shuck says, later, kids. Everybody be on the lookout for the campus kickoff that is out now, and Towing the Line is out tomorrow. Enjoy your night watching college football. The World Series is on as well. That's going to be a fun watch, and then scary movies all throughout the night. But until next time here on the Buccateers, we'll be back as a unit Saturday. We'll be back as a mini show tomorrow. Cats, Zach, J-Lo, Tampa Tones. Until next time, the rest of the gang that couldn't make it, fire the damn cannons. Happy Halloween, everybody. Bro, we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, say it ain't so, Coe. Say it ain't so. Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game. But it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown, how was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, hey, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like he got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, you know, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, you know, once he took over Rich McCann, still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers with wide receiver Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go.